So, if you are somebody who watches more than just my beard related videos, you'll know that a lot of my other content is about life related topics. I like to discuss values. I like to talk about um, perspectives, and I offer my thoughts. I offer potentially to my children, because that's what these videos are mostly about for me. That's why I make them. I offer insight, guidance, and I like to tell stories and present parallels because that's how I enjoy learning. And I read a lot. And when I read a lot, I get excited about some of the things I read and I like to share. And in doing so, I actually remember more by way of sharing. So that's why I bring it to you, the viewer. In my last video, which is called, I think it's Can You Trust Your Gut Instinct or Intuition? Someone presented a question to me that I thought was very good, and I think it's worth sharing with you. And his question was something along the lines of, do you, he said, he said, concerning the topics of discussion and the videos that you upload, do you ever ask yourself the questions that you're presenting to your viewers? And, how has that affected you? What's that meant to you? Something along those lines. And he even said, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just wondering, basically, he was asking me if I've ever turned the questions back around on myself. Have I ever turned the content inside out? Have I ever looked in the mirror and held myself accountable like I'm asking you guys to do? And I thought that was a great question. I put it in more words than he did to make it clearer, but I think it's worth asking. I think it's fair. And so to answer that question, I am saying emphatically, yes, I do. And my response to him was absolutely, because that's what healthy minded, non pathological people do. They they introspect, and it's a healthy thing to do. It's just a very good thing to do. If you if you are someone who talks about these things but never holds yourself accountable, then you're doing it for a completely different motive. It's a shtick. You might be looking to make a lot of money. You might be someone who just needs followers. You might be someone who just needs validation. Um, I'm not like that. I don't do that. Whether you like or subscribe or not is entirely up to you, but it doesn't change anything for me. But I can certainly understand how someone could wonder if perhaps this purveyor of insight and knowledge, so to speak, could just be preaching from a pedestal, an ivory tower, a perch. I totally get that because you know what? We all know they're out there. We've seen them, and perhaps we followed them. I know I've watched plenty of videos by people who have similar content to mine that I really respect and like a lot, and then something happens someday. There's a turn in the way they talk. There's a turn. You can see almost the motive of their intent unfolding before your eyes, and you realize they're not everything that they seem to be. Well, I can't help that. I can't speak for those people. I can only judge them from a objective point of view, and I don't care to really share a whole lot of my thoughts on that because one, I could be wrong, and two, it'd be a waste of time. But for me, I will tell you that I have spent a whole lifetime of introspection. And the reason why is because I'm a Christian and I've been raised in a home where we were encouraged highly to read our Bible. And the Bible has a way of making people confront their humanity. And when you confront your humanity, sometimes you see things you don't like, you learn things about yourself, and you want to change them. You have the power to change them. And so I'm very conditioned to introspection and confronting my own humanity. And so, you know, I also read a lot of other books. I read a lot of fiction, and I read a lot of biographies, and all those things help me to learn about human behavior, and it helps me to learn about myself, and it challenges me. And that's why I bring these things to you guys. That's why I talk about them all the time, because I figure someone else might be able to learn from the same things I have. You know, for instance, one of my favorite books is called South. It's not the whole entire title, but it's written by Ernest Shackleton, and it's about his adventures down to the South Pole when he tried to cross the Antarctic. When he tried to cross the continent of Antarctica and got his men and him got stranded for 2 years. His ship got crushed in the ice, and it challenged the way I look at adversity. I would read books like David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, and the characters in the book contained individuals of ill repute and also a stellar character. And you look at these characters and ask yourself, am I like that? Do I embody any of the attributes that I see in these individuals, whether they are good or bad? Because I want to know. I want to know. Another book, for example, that I read one time that really chilled me, disappointingly, was a biography on Ian Fleming. Now, if you don't know who Ian Fleming is, he is the one who created James Bond. And I love James Bond. I love those books a lot. I like the books more than the movies. Now, I thought I was going to be really excited about this book, but it turns out I didn't like Ian Fleming very much. I didn't like the way he treated his wife, and I remember reading that and going to my wife and saying, I am appalled by the way he treated his wife. I certainly hope that I don't do any of these things. Now, even if I feel sure that I don't exhibit certain behaviors that are reprehensible, I will still take a close look at myself under a magnifying glass and ask myself if I'm being honest, if I'm being forthright, because I want to know, and I want to extricate that from any part of my character, so I can have a better life, so I can treat people better, have better relationships. That's what it's all about to me. That's what reading does for me, and that's why I bring the content to you guys that I do. And so I want to thank the person who asked me. I don't even really know his real name, but it's in my comments under my video, Can You Trust Your Gut Instinct? I want to thank him for asking me that question, because I think it's fair, I think it's good, and I think it's helpful. And I hope it was helpful to you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, like it, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.